This is a WEG CFW100 inverter drive, and this is a three-phase electric motor. In this video, I'm going to show you how to connect a CFW100 to a PC via USB and use WEG's WPS Programming Suite software. Hello, I'm Simon from the Inverter Drive Supermarket, and this video focuses on WEG Programming Suite, more commonly known as WPS. WPS is a free PC software package maintained by WEG, which can be used with various products, including the CFW100. You can download WPS from WEG's website. Simply visit weg.net, type WPS into the search box, and follow the links to the latest version of the WEG Programming Suite installer. Once downloaded, unzip it and run the WPS setup program. Follow the installation steps to complete the process. We're doing this first because the installer also includes the USB drivers for the CFW100. When the installation completes, you can launch WPS. If you're prompted to update WPS, it's a straightforward process and worth doing. Once the update is complete, WPS will restart. To connect a CFW100 to your PC via USB, you'll need a CFW100C USB communication module. This should be installed in the option module port, which is behind the cover on the front of the drive. Now you might notice these option module ports here on the front, and yes, they do look suspiciously like USB connectors. But here's the important bit, they are not USB ports. How do I know this for sure? Well, let's just say a friend of mine thought they were USB, plugged his laptop straight in, and destroyed the CFW100 and his laptop's USB port. So if you want to connect to WPS via USB, use the proper CFW100C USB module. That way both your drive and laptop will live to fight another day. Once the module is installed, you can power the drive up and connect the USB cable. And we're ready to start using WPS. As you can see, the welcome screen shows various options, but for this video we're going to focus on parameters. Click on Start in the Quick Parameters Monitoring panel. This brings up the Communication Configuration dialog. As you can see, the physical layer is currently set to USB. Now I'm going to select CFW100 from the Device Selection drop-down. This isn't a requirement, but changes the list of physical layers to match the drive. The USB option is now grayed out and Serial over USB has been automatically selected. This is correct. Even though we're using USB, it's the Serial over USB option we want, not USB. Next, check the COM port. In this case, there is only one, but you can use Device Manager to confirm if necessary. Look for the COM port with FTDI as the manufacturer. The rest of the configuration settings should stay at their default values, as you can see here. We can use the Test button to test the connection. You can see that the device is online and WPS has correctly identified it as a 4.2 amp CFW100. Perfect. If your drive is not detected, check these parameters in the drive and ensure they match the configuration. Press OK to close the dialog. Now we're connected, WPS reads all the parameters from the drive and displays them in a table on the screen. We can see the parameter number, a description, offline and online values, we'll get to these in a bit, minimum, maximum and factory default values, units, the data type and address. The online parameters are live and continually updated. For example, you can see that the diagnostic parameter for module temperature, P030, is rising as the drive warms up. Directly above the table is a toolbar. The two table icons are for importing and exporting parameters. The icon with an arrow pointing outwards is to export parameters, so let's click on that. So if I change the field separator to a comma and then click on Save, I can open the file. And I have a copy of the parameter values. This will be really handy if I need to refer to any of these values in future. Obviously there are a lot of parameters here. Rather than scroll through them all, I can use the filter button on the toolbar. And if I type minimum, then only parameters with minimum in the description are shown. The filters are applied as you type, which is a nice touch. So if I want to change the minimum frequency, for example, I can change the online value, and as soon as I press enter or click away, the drive is updated. This is bidirectional too, so if I change parameter P133 in the drive to 45, the online value in WPS is updated automatically. Next to the online value, we have the offline value. This is so you can modify parameters in WPS and only write them to the drive when you're ready. The values highlighted in red make it easy to see the differences between the online and offline values. Before we try a couple of examples, I'll use the orange Read Parameters button to update the offline values with the values from our connected drive. As you can see, the online minimum frequency value is now reflected in the offline value, and as they are the same, the offline value is no longer red. So if I change the offline value to 40, it turns red. but the drive won't be updated until I press the green Write Parameters button. So let's do that. If you look at the output down at the bottom of the screen, you can see that WPS is writing all the parameters. This is not ideal if you only need to make a few changes, and in these cases it may make more sense to use the groups on the left. I'll clear the filter and expand the Command and References group so I can drill down to Speed Reference. You can see minimum frequency here, so I'm going to change the offline value back to 45 Hz. It changes to red as expected. Now I can expand motor control, common functions and ramps and change the offline value for acceleration time to 10 seconds. It goes red too. Now when I press the green Write Parameters button, only the parameters in this group are updated, as you can see. So if I go back to the Speed Reference group, the offline value for minimum frequency is still red. It's not been updated. In fact, I can be even more specific and hide parameters by using the minus button. This means that they'll be ignored for both reads and writes. So let's hide minimum frequency and the multi-speed parameters and try writing the value again. Only the visible parameters are written. To unhide parameters, I can click on the plus button, select which parameters I want to unhide, and press OK. Simple. They are now visible again, so if I click on the green Write Parameters button, the offline change to minimum frequency is applied, and we're up to date. That's enough for this video. However, we will explore more WPS features in future videos. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, as we really appreciate your support. See you next time. This video is for educational purposes only. Always follow official manufacturer documentation and safety instructions.